Bam, bam, bam. What's good with you? Happy Monday to everybody out there. Hopefully, everybody had a safe and blessed weekend. Let me do a quick roll call. Shanna, what's good, sis? OG Tank is coming in with nonsense right off the rip. Gina V. Gina, salute. Major Havoc, salute. Khan, salute. The TBG, salute. Tori Hunter is in the building. The TBG says, Konnichiwa, Konnichiwa, Thomasan. Y'all didn't know I had a little Japanese flavor. What? All that. Howard J, what's good? Team Blacksmith in the building. Keith Darkness, salute. STD, what's good with you? Rubble Double, what's happening? Ramsey J. CG Siege is in the building. Strategic Work, what's happening with you? Fam, to quote the philosopher, the great African-American philosopher, my boy Kev, it's about to go down. Look, fam, I did my 2011 tiers last year, and folks lost their mind. It spread out to Reddit. It was all over the place. Everybody had an opinion, which is all good. Which is all to the good. Even the crazy folks out there. Crazy folks have opinions too. We welcome them. We welcome them on the 2A-N-LA'S channel. So look, fam, just by way of announcements, we're going to be doing some giveaways tonight. I got some a good non-member giveaway and a great member giveaway. So stay tuned for that. We're doing that at the end. Also, I've got some big announcements about the 2011 giveaway. We'll also be doing that at the end of the live. So make sure you hang around for all the giveaway information. All right. Let me start this off with some disclaimers. And I don't know why I'm even doing disclaimers because nobody listens to the disclaimers anyway, but I just want to have things documented for the record. All right? Disclaimer number 1. I am not a high-level competition shooter. So if you think I need to be a high-level competitive shooter to have an opinion about 2011s, then okay, this list is not for you. Right? Put that right out there. Disclaimer number 2. I am not a licensed gunsmith or gun manufacturer. If you feel that you need to be a 2011 gunsmith or a 2011 manufacturer to have an opinion, then this is not the list for you. Right? Number 3, I've been shooting 2011s now. Sorry about that, fam. I've been shooting 2011s now for about 3+ years. That's a significant amount of time to be shooting a platform, but it's not 10 years plus. So if you feel that you need a decade's worth of experience before there's any value in your opinion about 2011, this is not the list for you. Okay? Now, that said, now that I made my 3 disclosures, why should you listen or care about anything I have to say relative to 2011s? Well, number 1, you don't. So I want to make that clear. And if you don't, my feelings will not be hurt. I will not lose 1 second of sleep if you don't value my opinion. Not 1 second of sleep will be lost. All right. But that said, I do own over 35 2011s. Over 35. And by the end of the year, it'll be well over 40. And I own 2011s at every price point. multiple firearms, multiple 2011s at every price point, from very budget friendly $1,500 or less guns to high end 2011s that are $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 or more. All right, and everything in between. All right. In addition to owning that many 2011s, I own probably about 75% of the manufacturers that we're going to be talking about tonight. So I have firsthand experience with owning most of the manufacturers that we're going to be talking about tonight. Also, because of my platform, I have relationships with a lot of manufacturers and retailers. So a lot of people send me firearms that I don't own to test. And I've tested well over 45 different 2011s in the last 3 years. And I can tell you that I probably shot, at bare minimum, over 60,000 rounds through the 2011 platform in that time frame. So while I would not call my opinion an expert opinion at all, I would say it is a very informed opinion. And I put a lot of thought into these tiers. It's not like I just throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks. I go back, I look at all the guns that I reviewed, I look at the scores that they received, I looked at my personal notes, and then beyond that, I do have relationships with some of the best gun manufacturers, 2011 manufacturers, walking planet Earth. And so I do consult with them, right? I have relationships with some of the best, largest 2011 retailers in the country. And I consult with them, not just about what they sell, but also about what comes back, often more than not, for warranty work, right? So, and I consult them about things throughout the course, about the platform itself, and about this list. So I'm getting a lot of input from individuals who I do consider to be experts. All right. So with that said, let me get to this, a couple of last points. Number one, there are going to be over 45 companies represented tonight. And so if we disagree on one or two, it's okay, y'all. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody, it's okay. And last, I want to talk about bias. Look, fam, one of the main reasons why I feel like I'm better suited than most to do something like this is because I own most of these manufacturers. I own a ton of 2011s. I really don't have any emotional bias about any one company. When you own them all, I don't, it's whatever. It's whatever. A lot of times when I hear people caping up for a gun, no, I feel like this gun should be this. And I'll be like, well, do you own that gun? Yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem, right? A lot of times people have this allegiance, this personal attachment to the gun that they own. But when you own all the guns, you don't have the same kind of emotional attachment. If you tell me, I think, the Springfield Prodigy is just as good as Atlas, well, great, because I own the Prodigy and I own Atlases, so it's all good. I'm winning either way. So I don't have any personal biases here relative to the selections that I'll be making tonight. Now, the goal is for me to get through the tiers and to get through them as quickly as I possibly can, and then try to open it up for discussion afterwards. Also, I will tell you guys that we are doing the tiers a little bit different than we did last year. Last year, we structured them kind of the way that a lot of people out there do it. Like we do like S tier, A tier, B tier. I thought that's two things. One, I want to do something different. And two, I wanted to have something that I think is a little bit more relatable, I think, than just kind of random letters. Hold up, let me get my shout outs out real quick in case I miss anybody. My man Thomas, salute in the building. Patrick Irie, what's good, fam? Merrick Hayward, what's up? She is Sunshine. Hey, sis. What's good with you? What's good? Robert Peters. Salute. All right. Look, let me share this with you real quick so we can kind of go over the categories this year, right? All right, fam. So look, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories for the tiers. Austin, what's good with you, fam? Welcome to the chat. Everybody make Austin welcome. He is new. Treat my man well. All right, we got 6 categories here. We've got GOAT, All-Star, Hall of Fame, role player, coming off the bench in G League. Now, GOAT, there could be several manufacturers who are in the GOAT conversation. I'm not trying to pick the best, but I'm picking the ones in GOAT that I feel are the best, that are in that there's a case to be made, an argument to be made that they are the best manufacturers of 2011. And then tier just under that is Hall of Fame. If you are a Hall of Famer, your guns are the ish. They are the bomb. You have a long track, more than likely, you have a long track record of making very, very high quality firearms, right? If you are an all-star, there is a level of consistency there that you have shown in the space that warrant that, right? If you are a role player, to me, you're solid. You are a solid 2011. If you're coming off the bench, doesn't mean you're bad. I've got some really great 6 Man of the Year honorees up there in my coming off the bench. And if you're G League, look, you're still a baller. You're just not ready. You're waiting, working on your game, trying to get called up to the NBA. All right. So those are our categories for tonight. Let's get into the tiers. Give me 1 second. Let me shout out. Hold on. Tank. Oh, Tank said, not G League, shaking my head. I have a lot of Texas Legend games and have been working a relationship with them. G Leaguers are still ballers. That's what I just said, OG Tank. Just because you're in the G League does not mean you are not a baller. You just need to work on your game a bit to get yourself up to the pros, to the NBA. That's all. CK Kev, what's good with you? All right, hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get to the tiers. Let's do this. I need data. Okay. Tier list. Boom and boom. Okay, so let's stop sharing there, and let's get this cracking. All right, fam. Let's get this party started. Like I said, it's about to go down. All right, look. Let's get it rolling, man. Let's do this. All right, we're gonna start off with AAF. AAF stands for Alpha American Firearms. Many of you may not have heard of AAF. That's all good. But they make high quality faux power. I like that. Faux power, salute. Time Thomas, as long as TTI, Apache, and Jacob Gray is not mentioned. Oh my God, Thomas. But you probably want somebody like Military Armament Corp to be mentioned, right? This is the delusion I'll be talking about. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, so Alpha American Firearms. Look, they make high quality 2011s. They have kind of an old school vibe to them. I like them. I think they're good firearms. I'm going to put AAF at the all-star level. All right. Next up, Accuracy X. Look, fam, I don't own an Accuracy X. I have shot them, and I know many people that own them. Most people like them. Most people feel like they are really, really solid, well-made 2011s. Accuracy X was a little borderline for me. I was debating kind of between All-Star and Hall of Fame. I have had a little, I guess, what's the word I want to use? There has been a little bit of, I'm sorry. They keep shifting. They move around these tiles in this app more than a little bit. So let me make sure I've got it right. Okay. All right. So there is a little variance though in opinion on Accuracy X. And so because of that, I'm gonna put Accuracy X, if I can now find them. There they go. I'm gonna put Accuracy X up at the all-star level as well. Let me minimize this and put this out the way. All right. Ramsey J said delusion. Right. That part. That part, Ramsey J. All right. Next up on the list is Akai. Koi, go mob, salute. So, look, fam. Akai is one of those ones where there's so many mixed opinions about them. Like, some people, first of all, they've been around for a long time. They've been making 2011s for a long time. They're at different points in time in the company's evolution. Their guns have gone from rave reviews to kind of feeling like they've lost their way, and now I think they're starting to come back a bit. Again, this was one I could have went to a few different levels, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to put Akai as soon as I can find their tile. There it is. We're going to put Akai at all-star level 2. So I got to say, none of this is, in terms of the order, I'm just going in alphabetical order. It just so happens that the first 3 are kind of all-star levels, in my opinion. Next up, Alchemy. All right. Alchemy makes great firearms. They make undeniably great firearms. I haven't had anybody who has shot an Alchemy gun or owns an Alchemy gun say anything negative in terms of the way the firearm shoots. For me, for you to be GOAT status, though, you have to have it all, in my opinion. Your gun not only need to have a long track record of reliability and producing quality guns, but there also needs to be an aesthetic component there. And I think Alchemy guns, I'm not a fan of the aesthetics of the firearm. I think they're great shooters. And I think there's a few firearms like that are on the list tonight. But I think if you're going to be GOAT status, you have to hit on all cylinders. S Shambles, salute. All right, so we're going to put Alchemy, as soon as I can find their logo. Oh, there it is. We're going to put Alchemy at Hall of Fame. I think they make a really, really great gun and have a long track record of doing so. All right. Next up, coming out our first kind of budget friendly gun manufacturer, we have Alpha Foxtrot. Now, Alpha Foxtrot recently debuted the Romulus, and by all accounts, the Romulus is a really solid firearm, really solid out of the box. Could use a little fine tuning, a little trip, maybe to Skip's Guns or somebody like that, so you can get the very most out of it, so you can squeeze every drop of goodness out of it. But I am going to say that Alpha Foxtrot is making a solid gun, and it has been kind of an evolution over time. And so we're going to go ahead and say that Alpha Foxtrot is in the NBA. And as soon as where can I find their logo at? Oh, there it is. And we're going to have them in the NBA, but they are coming off the bench. Alpha Foxtrot coming off of the bench. All right. Let's keep the party rolling. You know what? I should probably highlight these as I go so I know I hit them. Next up, Atlas Gunworks. So look, fam, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about Atlas other than they arguably are some of the largest producers of 2011s out there, yet their build quality, their consistency, it's Alchemy in the Hall of Fame, Ryan. Atlas's build quality, their consistency across multiple different SKUs, it's all consistent. I own 5 different Atlas guns. I've shot every Atlas gun in the lineup, and I have been there when very large Atlas shipments arrive at retailers. And what amazes me is how they all feel alike. They all have the same quality. So without a doubt, in my opinion, Atlas goes GOAT status. First GOAT status of the day. All right. Let's keep the party rolling. And I will come back. I will leave time at the end. If you think you want to talk me off the ledge, if you feel I've made a mistake, I will give you time to state your case. I just want to get through the tiers first because there's so many companies that I want to make sure we get through them all. All right. And we're not here in an 8-hour live. All right. Next up, Bersa. So look, Bersa just recently, Bersa's been a company that's been around for a long time. Obviously, they kind of specialize in affordable budget firearms to different degrees of success. They recently came out with their M2XI, I believe it is, or M2X1. And, to me, this is a classic example of a company who sees where the market is going and they want to throw their hat in the ring, but they really have no history of producing 2011s. These are new to the market. Maybe they're great. Maybe they suck. We don't know. There just isn't enough data. So they need to earn their stripes down in the G League until and prove that they are worthy to come up and play in the pros. All right. So we're putting Bersa at G League. All right, next up, this next one is a little bit controversial, and I don't mind that. I feel like when you have gun manufacturers that have multiple models at multiple price points, it makes choosing them more difficult. But what I will say about, and the company I'm talking about now is Bull Armory. What I will say about Bull Armory is that they seem to make a consistently quality 2011. And they seem to be able to do it at price points that are either equivalent or oftentimes less than their peers. So I want to get them their full props for that. Some people think they do that, maybe have a different interpretation of the level of success that they accomplish that at. Some maybe feel they do it better, some maybe worse. But in my opinion, Bull Armory is a staple in the 2011 community. They should be respected as such. I appreciate that, again, that they bring quality firearms. I just wish they were more readily available in the marketplace. I had a discussion with the head of their U.S. operations at SHOT Show. He promised me that he was going to try to get more of their guns out there in the marketplace for people to be able to buy. I know that you can purchase them on their website, but for me, Bull Armory comes in as a role player. You kind of need those role players to build championships. And I think Bull Armory is playing their role. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Thomas thinks Bull Armory is Hall of Fame. Okay. Then you got to look at Bull Armory next. So I'm going to say this, fam. When you guys, let me say this, two things. Number one, this is about what guns are the best. This is not what guns are the best value. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I'm talking about, in my opinion, which guns are the best. I'm not factoring price in. If I were factoring price in, Bull Armory would definitely be higher up. If I'm factoring value, Bull Armory would be higher up. I'm not factoring that in. I'm factoring in which guns are the best. Who manufactures the best guns? Period. And so if you think Bull Armory is Hall of Fame or GOAT status, then you have to put that Bull Armory up next to the guns that are in that category. So I would just say, wait to see what guns wind up in role player. And I think you more than likely agree that Bull Armory is well placed. All right, let's keep it rolling. Well, yeah, Thomas, you would know way more about 2011s than I do, since you have so many more than I, and you shot so many more than I. So I'm sure you're probably right. I probably did bump my head or something. All right, let's keep it going. Next up, Cabbat. All right, fam. So look, Mark D says Platypus deserves a spot. Stealth Arms is in here, so we'll get to that. Even though technically they're not a 2011, they are 2011 adjacent, as is kind of Lago Arms and some of the other ones. So I'll give them some credit for that. All right, next up, Cabbat Guns. So Cabbat is really a 1911 manufacturer who has kind of entered into that double stack world with the insurrection. Now, I've had the opportunity to shoot the insurrection on multiple occasions. I have one coming. The quality of the construction of the gun is undeniable. Cabbat is a staple in the gun industry. They make some of the most high-end firearms that money can buy. I'm not a big fan of their 1911 stuff because they're more ornate, and I'm not a guy who keeps his guns in display cases. I like to go out and shoot them. But I think it's hard to deny that when you're talking about Cabot, you're talking about some of the best gun manufacturers out there. And so for Cabot, as soon as I find the logo, there we go. Cabot goes in Hall of Fame, and it makes sense that they go in Hall of Fame next to Alchemy because they own Alchemy. So there's that. All right. Let's keep it rolling. These next two, I'm going to put these two together. Chambers Customs and Sharon Customs. So these are custom gun manufacturers. Many of you probably have never heard of them. But for those who know, you know, they make as good a 2011 as anybody out there. Hard to deny it. Some would argue better than Atlas, and some would argue better than some of the other guns that I have in that I'm going to be putting under the GOAT category. What I will say, though, is that the only issue that I have with Chambers and Charon is that aesthetically, the guns are not pleasing. Now, many people don't care about that. They could care less. And for those people, I get it. I 100% get it. You know, I could definitely see why you would place them where you would place them. But for me to be GOAT status, you got to have it all, kind of. And I think what they're missing is the aesthetic component. And so for both Chambers and Charon, I'm putting them in the Hall of Fame. If I can find the Charon logo. Am I missing it? Is this it? I think this is it. I think this is the Charon logo. Okay. We're going to put them in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's keep the party rolling. Hold on. Let me. Purple Bulldog said Chambers is next level. I agree with you. Mark D said RGCD looks amazing. It's an unbelievable shooter. It's an unbelievable shooter. Trayvon said, this live is so funny. I just spoke and did a presentation to me by NBA. Okay. Stephen Barnes, fam, if you want to try the Actuator series, their best. I have the new F series. Okay, bet, Stephen. I'll hit you up. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Next on the list is I gotta look at my list to know that, right? So we just did Charon. Next on the list is Combat Precision. Again, they're probably more Combat Precision is probably better known than Chambers and Charon. Owner Chris James has been around for a long time making really, really great firearms. I own 2 Combat Precision pistols. I have the GT as well as the M5. Both of those guns are incredible shooters, and incredibly well made, aesthetically pleasing, incredibly reliable. I'm a huge fan of the brand and the quality that they produce. I feel like they should be in the GOAT conversation, but I think they need to produce more and more variety. But the quality of their firearms are undeniable. And for what you get for the price, I think, even though I'm not factoring value, it's just best. I'm saying this as an aside. For what you get for the price, I think they make a really, really good firearm, I am going to put Combat Precision in the Hall of Fame. All right, let's keep the party rolling. Next up, Cosent Arms. So, look, fam, I had the Cosent Arms 3.5. I did a video recently where I did reviews on the 3.5, the 4.6, and the 5-inch new Cosents that are being offered through Covert. Historically, there have been kind of mixed reviews, not so much on the manufacturing, more so on the QC on Cosent Arms guns. But I think they have kind of got that under control. They have turned that around. I think they are producing very high quality firearms right now. They're right in kind of from a pricing perspective. They're right in that mid-tier gun, that mid-tier category from like guns like $3,500 to $5,500. There is a log jam in there. And so they've got a lot of competition that they're facing, but just in terms of the quality of what they produce, I am going to put Cosent in the all-star category. All right. Next up, one of my more recent firearm purchases, and that is Fusion Firearms. So look, fam, I had this opportunity to meet with the owner of Fusion Firearms at SHOT Show and talk to him in detail about what he's trying to accomplish with the offerings from Fusion, specifically the XP Pro and the variants that are going to come from the XP Pro. I own an XP Pro. I've done a review on it. It hasn't been uploaded yet, but it's coming. I think it's a very quality, budget-friendly firearm. I think it punches well above its weight. I think the gun shoots really well. Are there some things that could get better? Absolutely. But I think for the quality of firearm for what you're paying for, and I'm not factoring in price, but just the quality of the firearm and the fact that they can produce a quality firearm like that at the price point says something about the company. I'm going to put Fusion Firearms. They're in the league. They are coming off the bench. Them and Alpha Foxtrot. I think those are well paired. All right. Next up, this is one of the firearms that I am desperately seeking. I hope to pick up. The plan is to pick up one this year. I now have had the opportunity to shoot a Fowler, but I think Fowler makes really, really, really good guns. If we're talking about kind of that mid-tier, 3,500 to 5,500, Fowler is, and you're thinking about buying, you should not make a purchase without taking Fowler into consideration. Now, the problem with Fowler is they are hard to find, fam. They are hard to find. If you thought bull armories were hard to find, Fowlers are very hard to find. There is a backlog. They are in high demand. I think aesthetically, they are beautiful firearms. I think they punch above their weight in terms of aesthetics. And I think the manufacturing is better than solid. I just feel like probably I would want, they've been around, they've been doing it a long time. This is a borderline call for me, but I'm going to put Fowler as an all-star. I think they fit nicely with the Cosents, the Akais, the Acuras, the X's, the AAFs of the world. I think that's a good pairing. Could they be? I feel like Fowler is borderline all-star, borderline Hall of Fame, but I think all-star is a solid spot for Fowler to be. I mean, really, really good firearm companies. All right. Next up, the Gerson Witness 2011. Faux Power thinks Fowler is GOAT. So, Faux Power, you would put. Okay, Faux Fowler, I want you to stay till the end. And Purple Bulldog, stay to the end. I'm going to give you an opportunity to state your case. I want you to see who Faux Power thinks Fowler is GOAT status. So, Faux Power, I want you to look at the end and see the other GOATs and tell me if you think Fowler still measures up to GOAT. And Purple Bulldog, you think they're Hall of Fame. And I told you it's borderline for me. Look at the other Hall of Famers and you tell me if they're still Hall of Fame to you. All right. So please hang around, you two specifically. Please hang around to the end because I want to get your input some more. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next up, Gerson Witness 23. And let me just say, I said this before, I will say it again. I don't have any personal interest. This is not an emotional thing for me. So keep that in mind too. Ask yourself, is this an emotional response because it's your gun or not? So let's keep that in mind. All right, let's keep it rolling because we got a lot more to get through. The Gerson Witness 2311, look. They came out with that 2311 match. I think it's a really good gun. I feel like there's a few guns that I feel like Alpha Foxtrot, Fusion, and Gerson. I feel like they're doing their thizzle, man. I really do. I think you get a lot for the money. It's a good, solid gun. I'm not going to go into a long diatribe on it. I'm just going to tell you that I think it's solid. They're in the game. And as soon as I can find Gerson's logo, oh, there it is, we're going to go ahead and put them at coming off the bench. All right. Next up, got a review coming out on this one in a couple of weeks. I just did my first initial impressions on them a couple videos ago, maybe last video, something like that. And that is Gun Crafters. Again, you may or may not have heard of Gun Crafters. They make a quality 1911, a quality 2011. I just feel like similar to Alchemy, similar to, in some ways, the Cabbat. I feel like aesthetically, they got to step up their game a little bit. I think that they're great guns. They shoot incredible, but to certain things, like they still got at that price, and I'm not factoring in price, just shot, but at that price, I feel like some of the features should be better. I feel like the grip safety should be deleted. I feel like it should have bull barrels. I feel like it should have toolless guide rod. But there is no doubt, like the construction of the gun, the accuracy of the gun, the quality of it is awesome. Awesome. It's up there with the GOATs of the world in terms of their manufacturing and construction, but I'm going to put them in Hall of Fame status. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, this next one, look. To me, this is not controversial. Some people may feel like it is. I don't. I think they make just a beautiful firearm. I feel like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'll skip ahead. I feel like they make I feel like aesthetically they make the best looking firearms in the industry. And I feel like it's one thing to make a really attractive gun. It's another thing to do both. And I feel like feel like they find a way to do it. I'm putting Infinity in the GOAT tier. Infinity goes into the GOAT tier for me. All right. Next up, Hayes. I own a Hayes. Arguably one of the best shooting guns in my collection. Arguably one of the most attractive guns in my collection. I have never, Thomas, you are out of your mind if you think Infinity is an all-star. Thomas, you should start a YouTube channel so you can do your tiers. And so I can come in your chat and tell you about your picks because you on crazy right now. Hayes guns are phenomenal. Phenomenal. I love the way they shoot, the way they look, the consistency in the construction. And while this is not based on price, I'll tell you that historically, what you get for the money is unbelievable. However, they've recently raised their prices, so a little less unbelievable than they were before. But nonetheless, Hayes, GOAT status for me. GOAT status for me. All right. Next up, Jacob Gray. So you guys know I've done reviews on the Jacob Gray Hex, although that one hasn't come out yet. I've done reviews on the Covert Limited Edition and on the original TWC9. I think dollar for dollar, that is a phenomenal gun. Hard to beat it relative to price. The quality of the machining, the quality of the parts, the quality of the trigger, just really, really well done. Really well manufactured gun. And they've got some great things that are coming in the works. I'm going to put Jacob Gray right next to Bull Armory and Role Player. I think those are two great 2011 manufacturers. All right. Let's keep it rolling. All right. This next gun company, I don't have any experience with, but I have relied on kind of secondhand input on this one, and everybody that I've talked to swears that these guns are very, very well made. That in terms of fit and finish, in terms of tolerances, in terms of the parts that are used, that these are very, very well manufactured guns. Aesthetically, I think they're very attractive looking guns. There's just not enough of them out there in the wild for me to put them kind of at an all-star or Hall of Fame level. The company I'm talking about is Custom Works, and I'm going to put Custom Works at the Role Player level. I really think they likely could be at an all-star level, but I just haven't seen enough of them. I don't have the personal experience, and I don't know enough people who have put rounds through them to attest to that. And so, but I will say this: what you get for the money on paper looks great. Looks great. And so I'm going to put Custom Works at the Role Player level. Somebody wants to try to talk me off of that at the end, feel free to do so. All right, this next gun is not a 2011, but it's so unique that if I can't make tiers for it because it's one of one. But since most 2011s are kind of competition pistols, it falls into that category. As far as accuracy go, it's excellent. As far as trigger goes, it's excellent. Fit and finish is really, really good. The recoil impulse is very different. And the gun heats up. They've got some new offerings that they came out with this year. Of course, if you haven't guessed what I'm talking about yet, I'm talking about Lago arms. Just on innovation alone and the accuracy and shootability of the gun. Thomas, again, crack with the custom works. Hall of Fame or All-Star. Maybe All-Star, though. Maybe that's not crackish. I'm putting Lago arms at All-Star level. All right. Let's keep it. Now, this was one where I got all of the smoke last year because I think I want to say we had S tier, A tier, B tier. I think I put them in B tier. I own this gun. The TBG. I can't call it Hall of Fame, bro. You gotta, has to be some measure, bro. Has to be some measure. But okay. I own this gun. I love this gun. This was one of my favorite value buy guns, especially for where I bought it at. I think they make, again, from a componentry perspective, the tolerances are really super tight, uber tight. I think it's a phenomenal gun. And once you break it in, it's a great gun, and that is Legion Precision. I again love the gun, love Legion Precision. I think they make a phenomenal firearm. People felt like I should have rated it higher last year. I'm comfortable where I left it last year, and I'm comfortable where I'm putting it this year. I think it's in great company. I'm going to put it at the all-star level with Fowler, Cosent, Akai, Accuracy X. I think those are solid company for this gun to be with. All right, let's keep it pushing. Man, this next one too is, I don't know, man. People get so emotional, bro, about their picks. But again, this is one of the few guns that I don't own that are on the list. I have had the opportunity to shoot one since the last time. And this gun has been around a really, really long time. It just really struggles when it comes to consistency. I hear stories about how phenomenal these guns are, how phenomenally they are made, how phenomenally they shoot, and then I hear horror stories about what people have to go through with them. And so because of that, it's hard for me to kind of place them. But the gun company I'm talking about is Limcat. I think they make good 2011s. I think they make quality 2011s, but because of kind of the inconsistency, given the tenure, I mean, how long the company has been around, they should be GOAT status. They should be Hall of Fame status, but I'm going to put them at an all-star level. Some people are going to say that's too high. Some people are going to say that's way too low. Because of that, I think it's probably the right spot for me to put them. Hall of Fame. Well, I said, look, we already talked about that. I said stay around, Purple Dog, stay around till the end, and we can have a conversation about it. I felt like Fowler was borderline to me, but that's where we are. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. We did Limcat. Next up, Live Free Armory. Yeah, not going to spend a lot of time on Live Free Armory. I'm glad they exist. I think, I have heard RG, regular gun guy, say this. Before him, I heard Fat Guy with Guns say this, that we are in the golden era of firearms. You have to work, I think, to find a bad gun. I don't think any of these gun manufacturers are bad gun manufacturers. I think they all produce a quality gun, but just relative to its peers, Live Free Armory for me at this juncture. Let me find their logo. Where's Alpha? There it is. They're G League. I got them in the G League. All right, next up, Masterpiece Arms. So I have the most recent offering by Masterpiece Arms, their new comped pistol. Look, man, I think Masterpiece Arms makes a really, really quality firearm. From a value perspective, I think they're really good. Maybe the best kind of value buy out there right now, if I'm keeping it 100. I think if you think about what they bring to the table relative to the Bull Armories of the world, the Jacob Grays of the world, I think they're probably, right in that class, maybe the head of that class. So I am putting Masterpiece Arms in the role player spot. All right. This was one. This next one, a lot of you probably have not heard of. I consider them very much like a Chambers, like a Charin, and that's Mercier pistols. They make custom 2011s, arguably some of the best. Kobe Jackson, salute. If I haven't already said what's happening. Bobby Taylor, salute. They make phenomenally well-built pistols. They're, again, one of those companies where if you know, you know. And I just think aesthetically, hard for me to put them at the GOAT level. And there's not enough production out there in the wild for me to put them at GOAT level, but definitely Hall of Fame in my book. All right. Let's keep it going. Next up, Military Armament Company, the Mac 9. Fam, the Mac 9 Military Armament Company. I am so excited about this. I'm really not. G League. Let's keep it rolling. Next up, G League. I like that they're there. I appreciate the fact that they're there. I appreciate the fact that there are things that you can do to them to improve them and elevate them, get them to my boy Skip. I have zero problems with the Mac 9 and with Military Armament Corp. Again, I think at the price point, it's definitely a consideration. But if I'm keeping it 100, I would rather have Alpha Foxtrot Romulus. I'd rather have the 2311 match. I'd rather have and I'd rather have not Live Free Armory, Fusion Firearms. So that's where I'm at with that. All right, next up, Miller Precision. So look, fam, I had the opportunity to review the Miller Precision comped and ported flush face gun. It's unbelievable. And they make a comp version, they make a ported version. Too. Obviously, Miller's well known for their grips. Look, if they roll out this lineup and it is everything that the guns that I reviewed are, I think they got a shot at someday being Hall of Fame and GOAT status. But this is the rare occasion for me, as I have had the chance to shoot that gun where I put a rookie, where a rookie makes the all-star team in their first league, in their first year. I'm not saying they're starting, but they made the all-star team. Miller Precision, I have them at an all-star. That gun is everything that Bull Armory is, and then some. Better grip module, better trigger, better manufacturing, all metal gun. Yeah. Yeah. It's all that. All right. So Miller, we got them at all-star level. This next one, I don't know. Some people may be mad about this, some not. Next up is 2A Defense, you guys. So I had the opportunity to see this gun when it first premiered at SHOT Show. I got to see the improved version now. My main man, Team Blacksmith, just did a video on the gun saying that he really liked it. I can't work up any enthusiasm for the gun. I recognize what they're doing. I appreciate it. At the price point, it would not be the gun that I would look to buy first, second, or third. I'd probably rather have an MPA. I'd probably rather have a Jacob Gray. I'd probably rather have a Bull Armory, depending on which Bull Armory. And I'd probably rather have a Custom Works. So 2A Defense, I get it, but they're coming off the bench for me. All right, this next one, I don't know, may or may not trigger some people. Look, this next company, I feel some people are going to have an issue with what I'm about to say, because I feel like a lot of people hold them in high esteem, and I feel like you should. They have been producing excellent firearms now for a very, very long time. Their legacy, I feel, is cemented. I think they make not only aesthetically attractive guns, they make guns that run. This is a borderline pick for me. What has swayed me more, though, in recent times is the number of retailers that I talked to who have had to send these guns back for warranty work. And that's just a concern. You know, it's a consideration. I don't say it's a concern. It's a consideration. They got a lifetime warranty. So as long as you don't do anything to mess up the gun, then you can always get it fixed. But you don't want to pay $6,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a gun, and you can't shoot it because it's getting warranty work done all the time. That said, I think they have a long enough track record, an esteemed enough track record where, like I said, they're cemented. I'm not giving them GOAT status, but I am putting them in the Hall of Fame, and I'm talking about Nighthawk. Let Reddit and the chat go crazy. Right? Next up, Phoenix Trinity. So look, fam, this one is hard for me. Let me tell you that my personal experience with the Phoenix Trinity firearm has been very, very good. It is an excellent shooting gun. For the tenure that they have been around, Phoenix Trinity, y'all, for those who don't know, they've been around a long time. Phoenix Trinity has been around so long that they were supplying parts for Atlas up until a few years back. You know, they were supplying grip modules and other parts for Atlas until a few years back. Phoenix Trinity should be, I'm going to say this, stress this, should be in GOAT status considering how long they've been around and how long they've been producing on the platform. At the very least, they should be Hall of Fame status. However, there is such backlash relative to their quality control and their customer service, I just cannot put them up at GOAT level or at Hall of Fame level. So I am putting Phoenix Trinity at all-star level. I think that's an all-star shooting gun. It shoots unbelievably well. They make one of the best comps out there. Yeah. I would say when people ask me about them, though, when it comes to the guns I recommend, they're further down on the list because their QC and their customer service reputation is just not good. And I feel like at that price point, you could get a Fowler. At that price point, you can get a Staccato XC. At that price point, now you can get a Miller Precision and other very good guns. And some of the other guns we haven't talked about yet that we're going to be talking about. So hard for me to put them up higher than All-Star. And there's another company that's coming up that I feel kind of the same way about. All right. That is Phoenix Trinity. Let's keep it pushing. Next up, Race City Defense. Look, fam. Very similar to what I said about Miller Precision. Race Cam Edge. Salute. Very similar to what I said about Miller. Race City Defense is killing it. They may be rookies relative to, being on the big stage in terms of 2011, but there's no doubt that their gun is excellently manufactured. It is excellently produced. It is punching above its weight. If I had a Race City Defense RC9 in my hand, I would feel comfortable going up against any other gun on this list, including the ones that are in the GOAT conversation and the Hall of Fame conversation. They just don't have the body of work, I don't think, to be there just yet. But I am going to go ahead and put them at that all-star level. I just think it's a really, really, really well done gun. 100%. All right. Let's keep it pushing. Next up, Rafferty Customs. Any questions? Rafferty's guns are unbelievable. Creme de la creme. Creme de la creme. They make some of the best feeling, best shooting guns out there. The Rafferty Lucky Devil is the best gun in my collection. I've also reviewed his more traditional flush-faced 2011 as well. Amazing. Amazing is all I can say about Rafferty. So yeah, Rafferty Hall of Fame status for me. I don't know anybody that I ever talked to who has owned or shot a Rafferty gun who hasn't said it's impeccable. It's impeccable. So Rafferty Hall of Fame. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over that. All right, next up, some people are not going to like this. I like this company. I think they make good guns. I think they make good firearms for the price, but this is a 2011 ranking, and I just feel like they need to step up their game a bit. Like Hayes does a revision to their gun that elevates it high. I feel like they should be doing a little bit more with the gun. I went back and forth on this, whether they were coming off the bench, whether they're G League. But when I looked at the guns that are coming off the bench, I feel like Rock Island Armory right now on the 2011 side of things is kind of G League, and they need to step up their game just a tad bit because while they were kind of like the sole player in that budget 2011 space that was producing something that was pretty quality, Alpha Foxtrot, Fusion, Gerson, 2A Defense have come on strong in recent years, and I feel like Rock Island is just a little bit behind the curve. Derek Nuttall says he's surprised that I have 2A Defense down in the coming off the bench. He would have thought they would have been role player. I understand why you would think that on paper. If you looked at them, I would probably agree with you. But when I look at the quality of the construction of the MPA pistols, the custom works, the Jacob Grays, the Bull Armories, I just can't put 2A Defense in that class. Maybe they're at the higher end of the coming off the bench tier. I think on paper they are, but I gotta say this. Even then, I'd rather have a 23-11 match. I'd rather have an XP Pro and have me do some things to it. I'd rather have a Romulus and have me do some things to it. Yeah, just not a huge fan of 2A Defense. And that's just me. That's just me. All right. Hold on. Street work. Said I tried to get an Atlas or RCD this weekend when Modern Warfare ran a sale. If you spend $6,000, you get a. Yeah. I saw that. I did see that. All right. Next up, our good friends at Springfield Armory. Springfield Armory. I give them a lot of credit for putting pressure on people to make affordable 2011s. I think obviously their guns when they first came out, they had a lot of issues with them. Yeah. Hold on a second. Scott Sear says, I'm not seeing Hayes. Hayes is in Hall of Fame status, Scott. They're right there. Cosent All-Star, Nighthawk, the same level. Nighthawk is not the same level. Oh, you're saying Cosent is an All-Star, Nighthawk, and Gun Crafter. Well, I mean, I don't know how much you know about Gun Crafter, but yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, you know, Hank the Tank, when you do your tiers, we'll come out and check them out and see where we are, where you put all of your guns, where you choose to put them. But yeah, I don't know where you would have Nighthawk ranked, or I don't know that. Don't just say, oh, Nighthawk and Guncrafter saying, where would you put Guncrafter, Hank the Tank, and where would you put Nighthawk? Yeah, put yourself out there, my man. You about that life, put yourself out there. That's what I would tell you. That's what I would tell you, Playboy. Put yourself out there. Don't talk about it, be about it. Springfield Armory, I'm putting that coming off the bench. I realize they're new shorty. People like them a lot. I'm just not putting them up there with Jacob Gray, Bull Armory, MPA, and Custom Works. They're coming off the bench for me. Thomas said, I hurt people's feelings. Well, I don't know. You don't seem to be worried about hurting my feelings, Thomas. Like you said, I was on crack and all kinds of stuff. You're not worried about my feelings. Why should I worry? Yeah, no, I'm just telling you what I see. I'm here for the smoke. Y'all want to give me the smoke? I am here for it 100%. Love it. All right, next up, Staccato. Look, biggest player out there, right? Biggest 2011 manufacturer in the game. One of the oldest, one of the most consistently manufactured 2011s. Yeah, I I love Staccato. Now, keep in mind though, I think a lot of people think Staccato and they think the XC. But the XC is just one gun in the Staccato lineup. The vast majority of the guns are the P, the C2, the C, the CS, now the HD. That's Staccato by and large. And so while I would put the XC at probably an all-star level, I'm putting Staccato as a whole at the role player level. I think they match up nicely with the other guns. Right. The XC should be its own category. Fact. Fact. Yeah, but everything else I put there at the role player level. All right. Next up is not a 2011, but they kind of occupy that space. So I am including them in this mix because inevitably when people ask about 2011s, they always ask me about this gun. And so again, I'm going to say Stealth Arms. They make an incredibly good shooting pistol. I don't know what else to say about that. They make a very, very accurate, good shooting pistol. Now, their prices are creeping up more and more, but this is not about price. But I'm noticing it. And the thing about manufacturers are that they have to be kind of cognizant of is when you start creeping up and you start getting in striking distance of other pistols, are people no longer going to be checking for you, right? So if I was buying a Stealth Arms pistol today and with all the bells and whistles, that pistol's costing me $2,000, $2,100, $2,200, $2,300. Am I buying a Stealth or am I putting a couple more hundred with it and getting me a Bull Armory or a Jacob Gray or a Staccato? I don't know. I've got Stealth Arms coming off the bench. All right. We're getting close, fam. We're getting close. Next up, everybody's favorite gun manufacturer, Taran Tactical. I think when people think about Taran's 2011s, they only think about the Pit Viper and Sand Viper, but I think they need to remember the Combat Master that preceded those. I think they need to think about the Combat Master that he did with Staccato. All of those guns kind of constitute Taran. I think aesthetically speaking, I don't know, other than Infinity, I don't know if anybody makes a better looking gun than Taran does. And when it comes to shooting, hard to find many guns that outshoot the Sand Viper or the Combat Master. I think where things get fuzzy with Taran is the price. I think people look at that depending on where you look, but MSRP, when people look at that $7,000 to $8,000 price point, yeah, he doesn't manufacture them, but that's the case for some of these other manufacturers out here too, Major Havoc, who are doing third party. So I'm going by the brand, right? What's put out by the brand. What I would say with Taran is that I think people have a problem with the price. At the price, for what you get for the money, there's an argument to be made that his pistols are overpriced. That said, I think they're arguably the best investment that you can make for 2011. I'm going back and forth on this one many times. This one was another kind of borderline gun for me, and I recognize this could be controversial. I don't care. I'm putting Taran Hall of Fame. I just think the longevity of Taran in the 2011 space dates back a long time. I do not hear a lot of people having warranty issues with his guns. They're great shooters, great aesthetics. Could have been all-star, could have been Hall of Fame. I call that a borderline pick. But that's where I got him. Obviously, Ryan Davies disagrees. That's what makes the world go round. That's what makes the world go round, especially now. So anyway, let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Next up, Tisas. Look, fam. You know, if you're looking for a high quality 2011, if you're looking for something that is going to outshoot the Atlases of the world, you are looking for something that's going to outshoot the Infinities of the world, you're going to outshoot Rafferty and Hayes, don't buy a Tisas. It's not going to do any of those things. G League. G League for Tisas. So Saudi Charlie. Can't do it. Can't do it. I just think there are better guns to be had at the same price point than Tisas. And so that's where I'm at with that. Who said that Infinities are ugly? That sounds like something Thomas would say. But I don't know who said it, Gina. But I agree with you. Yeah. I'm not in love with every Infinity, the aesthetics of every Infinity that comes out. But I'm in love. Every time they do a drop, there's at least one I love, and oftentimes more. So, and the fact that they have a variety of guns that look different to me says something about them too. But whatever, I'm not going to relitigate Infinity. All right. Next up, Triarch. Look, fam. Look. What gun? I was saying this earlier about Limcat, that the range from people loving them to hating them is just so broad. And only I think Triarch's reputation on the low end side is even lower than Infinity. Although some people swear by them, I'm not going to spend a lot of time for them. I think they have a lot of the issues kind of that Phoenix Trinity has. I'm going to put Triarch at a role player. And for those who think, oh, 2A-N-LA only puts these super expensive guns up, no. Triarch is pretty damn expensive, and I got them in a role player role. So you land where you land in my book. Okay, Hank the Tank says, Cosent is a role player. So, Hank, I don't know if you were on here when I talked about Cosent. Maybe you came in late. But I said that Cosent historically has kind of had not the best QC reputation. But in recent times, like in the last year with this new line that they've come out with, I think they've really stepped up their game. Their quality control is improved. I think you should rethink them. There was a time where I would agree with you, but I'm going to say I'm comfortable with elevating them to an all-star level. When I manipulate that gun, shoot their guns, and I own one, and I've reviewed 4 in total now, they're above Bull Armory. They're above Jacob Gray. They're above MPA slightly. Above Staccato, most of Staccatos. So that's why I have them there. Hold on, take me. Nighthawk GOAT. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about Nighthawk, but I told you, I said Nighthawk was a borderline pick for me between Hall of Fame and GOAT. I mean, they were right there. What I have seen, though, from a lot of retailers, Hank, is that a lot of Nighthawks are being sent in for warranty work, more so than other guns, all the other guns that you see at the GOAT level. So that's why Nighthawk is there. But I totally understand why somebody, given their historical reputation, their significance in the space, I totally could see why somebody else on their list would put them at GOAT status. And let me say this, you guys. Just because you're on the same tier as somebody else doesn't mean you're equal. Some of these people are at the high end of the Hall of Fame tier. And just like Hall of Fame players, right? there's Kobe Bryant, and then there's people who kind of snuck in on the Kobe Bryant and Ray Allen are both Hall of Famers. They are phenomenal basketball players, but they are not the same. So think of it in that context. And then you said Gun Crafter All-Star. I'm not going to argue that. I got them at Hall of Fame, but here's what I will say. Like, look, fam, if you got somebody Hall of Fame and I got them at All-Star, I got somebody All-Star, it's one level. It's one level difference. We're not that far apart. All right? Let's keep it rolling. I want to get through this because I do want to open it up. I'm going to leave people room to persuade me. Right? I'm going to leave people room to persuade me. Type A, BG Defense 2011, the EG11. I own it. It's a great shooting gun. But I will say this. They've had QC issues. In fact, my gun had to go back. But even if it hadn't, I've just seen kind of an inconsistency in their ability to produce the 2011s. I've seen inconsistency in the quality of the manufacturing. I have literally been there where a shipment of maybe 5 or 6 guns have arrived, and every gun felt a little bit different. You don't see that with Atlases and Infinities and Rafferties. And so I appreciate what they are trying to do. They got to do some work. I'm putting them at a role player level. Again, that's a $4,000 to $5,000 firearm, and they're at role player level. And so, again, it's not about the price for me. It's about the gun. Really, really is. All right. Next up, Venom Customs. Yeah, I'm not going to I'm not going to spend a long time. Look, Don at Venom Customs is a mad scientist genius who produces some of the best shooting firearms that I have ever seen, ever experienced. I mean, you put a Venom in your hands, you put a Rafferty in your hands, you put a Hayes, they just feel different. They ooze quality. They ooze quality. And so, yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about Venom. If you have an opportunity, if you ever have an opportunity to buy a Venom firearm, buy one. Buy one. People that know. I have people who reach out to me trying to figure out ways to get them. I did that with Fowler. Venom is an excellent. I can't say, like I said, of all the guns that I have interacted with, shot, reviewed, manufactured, I've all the ones that you see in the GOAT category, I own at least one, often multiples, and Venom belongs there without a doubt. All right, next up, Voodoo Gun Works. So here is the thing about Voodoo. Voodoo came on the scene strong. They were offering a lot for the money. I think aesthetically, not the best looking guns on the planet, but by all accounts, tremendous shooters. From what I understand, there's been a change of ownership there, and there's been some kind of fall off a little, but I still think they're great guns. Still think they're great shooters. I would definitely, if I were buying in kind of that entry level price point where Bull Armory is, where Jacob Gray is, where Masterpiece Arms is, I would definitely be considering a Voodoo Gunworks gun. We're going to put them at role player status. All right, 3 more to go. Next up, Vulcan Machine Works. I've had a chance to shoot the 11. Last year I had them kind of, I think at like B or C tier, somewhere in there, just because there wasn't enough of them out there. Production is ramping up. You're seeing a lot more guns out there. And so I love the way the gun shot. I've got one coming. I'm putting Vulcan in the role player role. Again, by price, maybe they should be an all-star. I'm just not ready to do that yet. I'm just not ready to do that. I think they're still appropriately placed at the role player level. But it's a great shooting gun by all accounts. Review will be coming. All right, last two. Watchtower Apache. So Watchtower, I remember I don't talk about my job very much, but I have people who work for me, right? Staff. And I often tell people, like, you're in the news too much for all the wrong reasons. It's never that you're doing something great. It's always that you're dropping the ball somewhere. I'll say this. I think Watchtower makes very aesthetically pleasing guns. I think they have good parts. They have good componentry. What I will say though is their QC need work. And from what I hear, their customer service may have a little bit to be desired. Also, I'm sure everybody knows they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That said, they're still manufacturing guns. They are not out of business. They're still producing guns. I just feel like, given what they put out there, they should be at an all-star level. But with the QC issues and with the bankruptcy stuff and all of that, I just can't put them higher than role player. So I'm going to put them there. All right. And last but not least, Wilson Combat. Now, technically, Wilson Combats are not 2011s. They're double stack 1911s, but it's fine. I think most people think of them in that category. I think they make really good quality firearms, really, really well made. I think they've got a long track record of excellence. Some people might put them at an all-star level, but I think they fit nicely in that role player level with some very good quality company. So there you have it, fam. 2A-N-LA'S 2025, 2011 tiers. Woo! I think there's 47 companies all in total. We've got 5 in GOAT conversations. We've got 8, I believe, in Hall of Fame. We've got 10 All-Stars, 10 role players, 6 coming off the bench, and 5 G League players. Oh, Kimber. Okay, so look, I forgot to add Kimber, but I will do Kimber on the fly. I had an opportunity to shoot it, to handle it. I like it. I think it's solid. I would put Kimber, and they're kind of new to the space. I put them at a role player for now. That's it. All right, so that's 48 companies. Sheesh. Bam. I can tell you that there were not this many companies a couple of years ago. Stephen Barnes, the Dan Wesson DWX is not a 2011. It's too far a stretch for me. And I don't think most people, when they think of it as a 2011 or in that space. And then I do that, I got to start bringing in all kinds of CZs and stuff. So I'm not going to include the DWX. If I did a hammer fire tier list, I'd put it there. Strategic work, Rock Island Armory is in G League. All right. So I want to hear, first of all, let me get a shout out to Hank the Tank, who came back and told me where he would place those firearms that he brought up. I get it. I get it. It's different. I get it. I understand the DWX is different than the C. I get it. I'm not putting it in here. It's not a 2011. And I know I got a couple of guns in here that are not 2011, but if I start putting every gun that's a great shooter that is not a 2011 on here, then instead of 48 companies, I'll have 58 companies or 60 companies. So I'm not doing the DWX. So that's the list. So stealth arms over fusion. Yeah, I think the platypus is a better shooter than the XP Pro. But again, fam, I'm gonna say this for the people in the back that just because guns are on the same tier does not mean that they are exactly the same. It just means that I can't put them on another tier. I think fusion is, and this is why I would encourage everybody who's critical of my list, try to do the list yourself. Try to think about these 48 companies and where you would place them. And I think it'll give you more appreciation for what I have to go through. But I think Fusion is above Bersa, LFA, Mac, Rock Island, and Tisas. I think Stealth Farms is above them. But I don't think either of those belong on a tier with Bull Army, Jacob Gray, MPA, Staccato, etc. So they both end up there. I have 4,000. What are two recommendations as a first-time 2011 owner? I would say Jacob Gray. I would say MPA. I would say Voodoo Gunworks. Wilson Combat, maybe. I won't recommend Custom Works to you, Siege, because I don't know enough about it. Felix Reed says thanks, and the Remus heats up less than the Creator. That's good to know. I did have a chance to shoot the Remus at SHOT Show, and I love the way it shoots, but I love the way all of them shoot. I didn't get to shoot enough rounds through it, though, to see if it heated up or not, so that's good to know. Ryan Davis, yeah, Race City Defense, but they're a little more than 4,000. So, Steve, if 4,000 is a hard cap, then I would throw Cosent and Race City in there for a couple $100 more. Fowler too, for that matter. Siege, call me. We'll have that conversation. Purple Bulldog, how would you tier the GOAT category? To be in the GOAT category, your guns have to be aesthetically, they have to check all the boxes. They have to be aesthetically pleasing. They have to be impeccably manufactured. Impeccably manufactured. And they have to have top flight componentry. They have to have a track record of proven performance. And so, hold on, Purple Bulldog, you were the one I think you felt like Fowler should be higher. Tell me why. Make your case. Somebody else felt like Fowler should be higher. Tell me why. Make your case. I would not put Fowler in GOAT because I don't think their manufacturing is as good as an Atlas, an Infinity, a Rafferty, a Hayes, a Venom. Their tolerance, when you get a Fowler out of the box, their machining, they remind me a lot of Legion Precision, which is why they're on the same level as Legion Precision, where the slide is gritty. And some of the componentries is the tolerances are not broken in. Now, Fowler, some people think that that's a flex. I think if that's the case, then how come Venom isn't flexing? How come Hayes isn't flexing? How come Rafferty, Infinity, and Atlas aren't flexing? You get their guns, it feels like they are amazing out of the box. I would agree that Fowler's aesthetics are better than Atlas. I said that. I don't know if I said they're better than Atlas, but I said I think that Fowler makes aesthetically, arguably one of the best 2011s out there. I think where their manufacturing process though is not out of the box, in my opinion, is not the same as the people you see on GOAT tier level or the Cabbats of the world or the Alchemies of the world or the Merciers of the world, the Combat Precisions of the world. Those guns, when you put them out of the box, they rack so smooth. they feel like they've got 3,000, 4,000 rounds through them. And then when they break in, they're even better. So I love Fowler. I mean, I love all the guns. I own several, like 4 or 5 of the guns that are on this manufacturers that are on this level. And so I love them. Just because they're all-star doesn't mean that they're bad. I think they're great. And I think when you look at the company that they're keeping, I think most people would say that's good company to be keeping. Ryan, I have not. I've shot Accuracy X guns. I don't think I've shot the X series. But again, with Accuracy X, I kind of based that a lot on the feedback that I got from some of the competition shooters that I know, and the retailers that kind of carry them. It's a little bit of a mixed bag with Accuracy X. Go but not Hall of Fame. I think if you talk to somebody who owned an Alchemy or a Sharon or a Chambers, I think they probably would not think Fowler is in that category. But like I said, you got him at Hall of Fame. I got him at All Stars. 1 degree of separation. I'm okay with that. You know, I could be wrong. I haven't held one yet to review your thoughts. Okay, Javon said he hated the idea of Type A doing the 2011. Is that because you were a big fan of their rifles? If that's the case, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I wouldn't. I own it. It's a great shooting gun. I'm not taking anything away from it. At that price point, though, it would be pretty down on my list. There are a lot of guns that I would buy before I would buy the EG11. I would buy Race City Defense first. I would buy a Staccato XC first. I would buy a Phoenix Trinity H-Tac first. I would get a Miller Precision first. I would get a Legion Precision first. I would get an Alien first. I would get a Fowler first. I would get a Cosent first. So I be way down on my list. That's possible, Ryan. It could be that they need more out in the wild. Look, man, I love Fowler. I'm desperate to get one in my hands. I love, like I said, aesthetically, I think they're phenomenal. They are phenomenal. And I can't wait to get one. 100%. I'm happy I got a chance to shoot one. I finally a friend who had one out here in California, where they're really well. Atlas over Infinity. Which Atlas, which Infinity? That's the problem when you start talking about those two. They make so many different ones. Aesthetically, 100% Infinity over Atlas. Quality of construction, maybe Atlas has a little edge there. Consistency in manufacturing, I'd probably give a little edge to Atlas. But I mean, when you're arguing about Atlas, Infinity, Rafferty, Hayes, Venom, you're arguing about which supermodel is better. And so I think if you have any one or multiple of those, I happen to have at least one from every manufacturer. I've got 5 Atlas guns. I've got one Infinity and 2 more will arrive this year. I've got a Rafferty. I've got a Hayes. I've got one Venom with another Venom arriving this year. So I think all of those guns are just outstanding. All of those guns are just 100% outstanding. All right, look, real quick. All right, I'm about to get into the giveaways. Before I get into the giveaways, though, let me just say this. No. Before I get into the actual giveaways, let me talk about the gun giveaways. So look, I told you guys I'm going to be doing a 2011 giveaway this year. And then Team Blacksmith came and stole my thunder, y'all. And then RPG did it again. But it's okay. I'm still giving a 2011 away this year. I have been waiting and debating about which 2011 it's going to be, and kind of what price point, and was I going to do stuff to it, and was it going to be a new gun or one from an existing collection? I'm still deciding that, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not just going to give a 2011 away this year. I'm also going to give a striker fire pistol away this year, a nice one. And I'm also going to be giving away an AR-15 this year, a nice one. So we're going to be doing not one, not two, but 3 gun giveaways to members this year on the channel. Stop playing. If you are not a member of the 2A-N-LA channel, I just want to know why, fam. Why? It is only $3.99 a month. Membership automatically gives you entrance into the gun giveaway competitions. And every live stream, I do a giveaway. And sometimes I do giveaways to members and non-members too, and one live and good giveaways. And so make sure you become a member, fam. I desperately want people to be a part of it. And it's my way of giving back. So that's that. So tonight, for my non-members out there, I am going to be giving away a range bag from CV Life. This, fam, for the price, it's hard to beat this CV Life range bag. It will fit anywhere from 2 to 4 firearms, plus eyes and ears and ammo. Like, if you're somebody like me who often, I will not be giving away a Tisas. If you're somebody like me who always takes a few guns to the range with you, at least every time you go, this is a great bag, right? So we're going to give this one away tonight. Let me pull up this. Let me share my screen. All right, fam, I'm going to ask you guys to put hashtag 2011 in the chat for an opportunity to win a CV Life range bag. OG Tech said his current range bag is one he won from me. Fantastic. Fantissimo. Look at everybody come out of the bushes. I miss some folks. Jada Budget Gun Buyer, salute. Mook, salute. Kobe, salute. Jason Parker, salute. Todd Scott, salute. Letho, a ninja, what's good? Denton, if I didn't say hi to you, hello, my friend. ERC, salute. All right, fam. One last call for alcohol. Best EDC that's California compliant. Well, I think it depends if you're going to do single shot exemption or you just looking for something. You got to go single shot exemption. I would say probably. Let me ask this: what's your budget, my man? That's what I think I need to know. What's your budget? All right, fam. I'm going to spin the wheel, so to speak. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Strategic work. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations on winning the CD Life range bag. Now, here's what I need you to do. I'm going to ask Gina or Shanna to put my email in the chat. Just email me your name and address to 2ANLA@gmail.com, TWO spelled out, ANLA@gmail.com. Name and address, and I will get your range bag out to you, bro. Congrats. Congrats, congrats, congrats. All right, now we got a member giveaway coming. So let me do present, share screen. All right, fam. For our members, we are going to be giving away an O-Light O-Sight. This is the S model, which is the smaller, more duty-oriented one. And this is going to be given away to a lucky member tonight. Also, I am going to be giving away with the range bag and with the O-Light O-Sight, we're going to be giving away a 2A-N-LA patch as well as a 2A-N-LA keychain so you guys can represent. Also, y'all, check out the 2A-N-LA merch. If Gina could drop down the merch store address in the chat, that would be greatly appreciated. We got everything, fam. We got t-shirts, hats, hoodies, backpacks, you name it, we got it at the merch store. All right. All right, let's get this wheel spinning. Let's do the RGG shuffle, 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 shuffle. And let's do it. All right. Congratulations to the Dark Knight. Now, I have not seen him in this chat. So he has until the next live to claim his prize. Otherwise, it goes back into the kitty. All right, fam. We got through it, y'all. We got through it. Look, I'm expecting this to go crazy. When it shows up on Reddit, everybody's going to be mad and in their feelings, and I'm here for it. I love it. I love the smoke. Bring it. Bring it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. Look, fam, we've been rolling about 2 hours now. Your boy is tired. We're about to shut this down. So again, fam, don't forget about the 2A-N-LA merch. Make sure you become a member at the very least. Make sure you drop down a comment and hit the thumbs up button for your boy. Tank, I'm not sure. It just shows up in Reddit. It just shows up in Reddit, bro. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, but it definitely finds its way over there. Busting guns. I'm not giving them my Porsche away, bro. That's not gonna happen. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. We'll do this again in a couple weeks. Oh, and I'm dropping a video tomorrow. I'm dropping the review for the Combat Precision GT Dark Horse. That's can't miss TV, fam. Can't miss TV. All right? That's it, fam. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.